GAWVI in the hot seat. No, it's not a hot seat, man. What's going on, bro? How's everything?
I'm just very happy to be here with you.
Does it seem weird because I'm like behind the camera and stuff? This is like a weird situation for you.
Does.
Don't worry, bro. I'm here in spirit. That's all you need to know. And hopefully everyone listens and can hear what I'm saying. Because if not, that's gonna be a bad look. But man, it's been a year since we've gotten together. So much has changed, and I'm uberly excited because we're pretty much here on the end point of you releasing a full-fledged album for a little bit, right?
Yes.
Wait, what's the name of it again?
Panorama.
Panorama.
Yeah.
And with a new haircut, new do, got new kids, a new resident. First of all, man, it's been a year, I think almost a year since I saw you. And now you have another child, so you have 2 in total.
I do, yeah.
And you moved from Atlanta to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
How has that transition? When did you know it was the moment to finally say, all right, man, my season is over in Atlanta, and now we got to go to Florida?
It was right when we had my son. When you have one child, you're trying to figure things out as a family. Date nights are like harder. But then with a second child, it's like, bro, we need help. And we were living in Atlanta with nobody. Like, my parents weren't there, her parents weren't there, not my sister, no cousins. So South Florida just felt like the move. And we've always wanted to go back to South Florida. It's home for me. It's where I was raised. I was born in New York, but South Florida is definitely where I was raised.
Now that you're in Florida, what could you say is different when you wake up? Is the weather different? Is it make it easier for you to create? Honestly, because I know like when you move,
South Florida, I'm about to sell it right now.
What? Sell it? What do you mean? Tell me.
Every time I go back to Florida, when we're flying, like right now we're in Texas, right?
Okay.
I love Texas.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. But when I fly back into Florida and I see a palm tree, and then I see the ocean, then I see the culture of people, bro, there's nothing like it. Literally, I go to every single state here in the United States, and every single state has something gorgeous about it. Everything is special. People grow up in different states, but growing up in South Florida, there's truly nothing like South Florida. And when I say South Florida, it's like West Palm Beach to Miami.
Yeah.
That's considered South Florida. Anything above West Palm Beach, it's like, where are we right now?
What is something you miss?
Except for Orlando. I love Orlando.
Yeah.
Orlando's like special. Like, it's like woods, Everglades, and then you got like Orlando, and then after Orlando, it's like woods,
back to
country.
What's one thing you like or you enjoy now since you're traveling all over the place, but you get to go back to your home of Florida? What's one thing you enjoy doing that you missed many, many years ago when you were in Atlanta and stuff like that? Maybe it's, I don't know, getting a cafecito with café con leche and I don't know what it is, but what is that one thing that you can enjoy that maybe you could even involve your kids in now that you enjoy when you go back to Florida?
Yeah, it's the beach. So like when I was a kid growing up, almost every single Sunday after church, me and my dad would go play soccer, or it was going straight to the beach. And I remember being a kid, just building sandcastles with my family, my sister. It's just something special, eating fish, fresh right there, from the ocean.
What's been happening with the music as of late? And I wanted to correlate it with this question. There was a post you put up on IG, on Instagram, where you were like, man, it really feels good to know who I am as an artist now, like figuring it out. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. How has that process been for you now? And how does that make the music different when you're releasing it?
Yeah. So this album has to do a lot with this question that you're asking. So last year when I released We Belong, I love that album.
Yeah.
I don't think it could ever be an album that I listen to that I'm ashamed of or I think is whack, anything like that. I love it. It was a great process for me. I learned a lot through it. But when I was creating that album, I was trying to make a lot of people happy. I was trying to make my label happy with certain songs. I was trying to make Christian radio happy with certain songs. I was trying to make, myself happy or my friends happy. I was just listening to too many people's voices.
Yeah.
GAWVI, you should make something like this. GAWVI, you need to do something like this. I was like, okay, I could do that. And I love each thing that I made. But, when I listened back to We Belong, it just felt so all over the place of where I was trying to figure out what I want.
Yeah.
Like, you'll hear rock and roll, where it's me doing more vocal stuff, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then you have stuff like Godspeed, where it's total
Yep.
EDM trap. With this new project that I'm coming out with, you know, I feel like I found something that I just really enjoy, which is just basically, I'm doing more singing. Of course, I'm always going to be a producer, so everything I produce. But it's more hip hop vibe. I guess it's probably just a season that I'm in right now. And I always go back to Neptunes and Pharrell. Pharrell is a guy that I look up to musically, and Kanye, like, musically, as far as they've been able to do anything they want. You know, you go from 808 and Heartbreaks to Jesus, or you go from Pharrell making I'm So Happy to he was doing Neptune's Grinding.
Yeah.
You know, there's just different sounds, and I think that's who we are as human beings. We go through different seasons sonically and emotionally.
When I met you, you were a father of one.
Yep.
Now you're a father of two.
Uh-huh.
How has that process been for you, and how much has it influenced the music that you're making now? Because I watch your IG, man. I'm like, man, he loves his children. You can see it. I think we all do. Every dad, at least I try to make sure my IG is full of my child or my son all the time. But seeing your babies, man, the growth of them now as they're getting older, how's it sort of modified the music from, you know, who GAWVI was 2 years ago to now?
Yeah. It's so being a dad of two is awesome.
Yeah.
Off the bat, but I feel like I've been so work mode that it's been getting harder. The more, you know, fame is happening, the more disconnected I get with my family, which sucks a lot.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm home, I try my best to just be like dad or husband.
Yeah.
And that's it. But this last like 2 months, trying to finish this album, doing all the shows,
It's been tough.
super tough.
That's the part nobody sees, nobody
Nope.
understands.
So literally, when I just landed from Dominican Republic yesterday morning, right? Yeah, yesterday morning. I landed at 7 in the morning. I needed some rest, so I got like a 2-hour nap, and then I spent 1 hour with the kids before I had to leave off to Orlando.
And I bet that was the most horrible.
It was hard because then I'm like, I just want to stay in bed with my kids, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's exciting. The kids always know my voice. I'll play them like a new song without even telling them. They go, "Papi!"
So they know.
Right. So that's been really cool. Like, they know my voice now with music and stuff. So they enjoy the music a lot. And I feel like my daughter, she might do music in the future.
Plus, you got a supportive wife. that
Bro,
knows about
she's
your
making her
craft.
songs now. My
You
daughter.
What?
Like, literally, she'll be in the room. Curtain, a chair.
Uh-oh. We might have something in the future here.
Yeah.
You playing.
So that's really dope.
Pretty amazing. Panorama is, did I say that right?
You did.
Panorama. What's going on here?
Papi
You're looking
Shampoo,
like a
you know?
merenguero or like a bachatero. I was like, what's going on right now? Then I guess I saw some of the branding and the imaging of what it's going to sort of look like, the feel and the vibe. What can people expect differently from this album, man? I know it's funny because when we talk to you and you produce and do so many other things, you never know what's coming, which I think is the exciting part as an artist. When you know, like, all right, we know what this dude's going to do and what he's going to give us. What can people expect from this album that probably you've never heard from you before?
Yeah. It's exciting. I like that you said that because I always want to make sure I'm keeping people on their toes, like not knowing. I don't want people to be like, oh yeah, he's going to drop this.
Or he's like a one-trick pony. He only does this kind of music.
This album is definitely all me now. So compared to We Belong, it's a lot of great messages, right? But this album, like, you're actually hearing me talk about personal stuff.
Okay.
I talk about my wife a lot in this album. You know, there's you know, in marriage there could be some humps.
Yeah,
times.
definitely. Tell me about it. Yeah. I know exactly what
You
you're
know,
talking about.
so that's something very relatable. And then also I went through a mini depression last year, the end of last year, that, you know, you hear it throughout the whole entire album. And then I didn't want this album to be, here's what I went through and here's the answer. I feel like we're always trying to give people an answer without just being there and grieving with them, or just being like, I understand your heart. I feel you. I've been through that too. You know?
Yeah.
So the album is very much in that aspect, not leaving you there, like not thinking that there isn't an answer. Of course, Jesus is always the answer.
Definitely.
You will hear that in the album. But I wanted people to feel like I'm human. The more and more like the numbers keep on going up on Instagram and stuff, and like people start knowing me, it's super weird. People don't think I'm human, and they talk to me in weird ways at times.
Yeah. When you say weird, like out of the side of their face, what do you mean when you say weird? And I think it's really interesting you say this, because I know a lot of interviews. Well, tell me about the song and what inspired it, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But when I think I'm catching you at a really good time, because it's at a part where you're beginning to rise and the pressure begins to mount. Because I feel like, as we've talked before, like there's some things you're gonna embark in this new year that will be different. Some stuff that you've never sort of done by yourself and said, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna rock this stuff, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the pressure, man, how do you balance that and not get caught up in the pressure and say, like, I'm just gonna do what I do, and this is my mojo, this is like my formula? How do you balance that out?
Yeah. There's different kinds of pressures. There's pressures that's good pressure, and then there's bad pressure. So whether it's from fan base or my label or anything like that, I'm very thankful I have a good inner team with me. Like Amanda's part of that inner team and stuff, where they keep me grounded with a lot, and I can always lean on them and say, hey, this is what I'm going through emotionally, or this is what I'm going through as far as like, hey, I need to make a decision. What do you think is right? So with any pressure, I think, and even just in life, you always need that inner circle, a community. You know what I'm saying? Keep you accountable and stuff like that. But, you know, there's like, when we were talking about fans, there's good pressure moments that's awkward, but like we were just in DR, and when we're going through immigration line, somebody knew who I was, and they were like, GAWVI, come. And I was like, I don't think he's talking to me. And he was like, no, come. And I was like, I think he's talking to us, so we're gonna go. And we skipped the whole entire line. And I was like, do I know you? I'm talking to him in Spanish. And he was like, no, I know your music. And I was like, what? But the weird part is, this is where it all comes together, is he was like, so how's your wife? How's your kids? And for me, I'm still trying to adjust to knowing that people know my personal life.
Oh, yeah.
Before it'd be like, yo, what you mean? You know what about my wife? You know?
What you talking about, yo? So they know because they're watching closely, and more people. I mean, the numbers are climbing when people are watching more and more of your. But I think that's good. I think the key is having that inner circle, and as long as those people are telling you the honest truth of what's going down, so you don't get too caught up, it's good.
I've kind of stopped posting stuff about me and my wife and my kids on my IG now.
You calm down with that a little
bit, just to protect them. You know?
Definitely.
My kids are getting a little bit older, and there are still sometimes. Thank God nobody said anything crazy about my kids or my wife. But there's been times where like I'll post something and people have no filter something nowadays. Like they'll have a whole conversation on my comments, and I'm like, I read these things. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, like you're talking to me. You would never say this to my face.
Exactly, but you type behind the phone and hide and not become present.
So like stuff like that, I'm adjusting to right now, where I have to keep on telling myself, you're an artist. People are gonna say certain things like this. You have to know how to navigate through that. But the guys have been great, like Andy and Lecrae. They always tell me certain things of how to like gear through those things.
We're a couple of weeks away from Panorama, here with GAWVI, who is, I caught him on tour, on the hot seat, and that's how we're doing this. Album, who's on that joint? Because with you, it always switches up. You go from Dominican Republic 1 week, and I hear Maria Lara, who's a producer out there who's pretty dope, then you switch it up. I'm hearing KB, then you switch it up. Some other person is on your record. Yeah. Like, who are some of these? Are there some? I'm more excited about hearing some hidden gems. Maybe some people nobody's ever heard of that might be on some of these records with the new album. Who you got sort of in store for us?
Yeah, most of the features is already out. So, my first single was Slingshot. Then I had Fight For Me, which is with Lecrae. Yeah. Then my third single was with KB, which was Fire. And then my fourth single was with Acleso, RJ, Romar Jesse, T. Ross, and that's that's the group right now, the group of friends that I just love. They're all over the album.
Okay.
Especially Akleso, he's featured on 2 other songs too.
Okay.
But
They're
yeah,
from different backgrounds, right?
we all
One is Haitian, I think.
yeah, we're Haitian, Filipino. T. Ross is from California.
International side.
Yeah,
It's all over the place.
it's fire.
So these are new up. I've never heard of these dudes. Who are these guys?
They're amazing.
How did you guys all
They're
connect
amazing.
together?
They're amazing.
They're amazing. How did you connect with
So
them?
there's 2 producers.
Because I know you're always, and for people that don't know, you're always looking. Like people think it's just that you're
Always
making
looking.
music. I promise you, always asking, yo, what you heard out there?
I'm just
This-
letting you know, all of us together, we're next. We're next.
So tell me about these guys and what we
So
can
there's
expect
2
from them.
producers.
Okay.
One of them is Enzo, and then the next one is Kilowatts Garnell.
Okay.
They're phenomenal. They helped me with some production on the album too.
Oh, dope.
The first time I've ever done that too.
That's a
how
lot
much,
of trust.
That's how much I believe in them.
Wow, that's crazy.
And then Akleso, he's from Miami, and we've built a great relationship starting from back in the day. We all met at Liberty University. They were there performing. And
Okay.
they were opening up for me, and then I was opening up for B.O.B., which is
Oh,
a weird
wow. Okay.
But they were just so amazing, and then when I met them in person, their energy, their love for Jesus, they weren't fake at all. They were just real dudes that were just passionate about music. We just connected. We had a lot of similarities. We had a lot of the same love for music. So through Akleso, I met Romar Jesse and Tanner T. Ross. So it's just been magical ever since. So they helped me throughout the whole album process too. I flew them all into Atlanta, and we got it all on documentary. That should be coming out soon. But yeah, we documented everything. So while I was writing or producing, they're in the next room, or they'll be inside the same room with me, and we're just creating all this music. Bro, I created probably over 50 songs, and I'm gonna give you some exclusive.
Yo. So these are unreleased records that are not even out yet.
Nah. So the album's gonna be 17 songs.
Okay.
Nobody knows that yet.
Yeah.
You're the first.
So this is the album collaborative with these producers and these artists. Aside from what you're about to drop in the next couple of
No,
weeks.
this is the album.
Oh, so that's what's on this new
17
project.
songs is on the new album.
Okay.
And then the only feature that hasn't been told yet is I have this one cool song with What Up RG.
Okay.
And we're talking about, it's called Green Card.
Oh, wow.
So you already know where we're going with that.
Yeah.
That one's fire.
I love it.
And then, man, I hope I'm not missing someone else. No, that's it, yeah. I kept it very much me on this album, which I love. The energy just flowed perfectly. And yeah, What Up RG is the only feature left that nobody's heard.
17 tracks on the
17
album.
tracks.
And then next year, 2019, or at the ending part, I think the quarter of this last year, there's possibly a tour that's in mind that you plan to go to.
Yeah,
a couple
we
of
already
different
have
places. Okay.
some dates lined up. I'm about to announce the rest of the dates.
So
really
people will
soon.
be able to check you out. And this is like your
This is my first tour.
tour.
Yes, this album's phenomenal, bro.
So
Like
it's crazy.
non-stop. There's no skips. It's front to back. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
Okay. I know you
literally-
take that really serious, so
Yo.
I know it's not
I
just something
literally
you're
just
saying.
got the album cover too, so it was due this Friday. That just passed, but we ran into some hiccups.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you the exclusive right now, yo.
You got the album cover? Is this the? Okay. Oh, snap.
Yo, that junk is wild. They don't even know what's going on camera right now.
Wait.
You can't show them. You
Don't
can't show them. But this junk.
So album drops 3 weeks. So a couple of weeks from now. Next single's coming in a couple of days or whatever.
Yeah, this next single is probably my favorite. One of my favorites on the album. It's very emotional. I talk about how I still struggle through the thought of my parents divorcing. I still end of last year I was on tour, the Air One tour.
Yeah.
And I lost one of my best friends during that tour, and I couldn't even go to his funeral. Like, this one is so deep in a lot of emotions that I think it's gonna relate to a lot of people. It's called With You.
So it's real. Okay. Yo, lastly, I remember having a conversation with you where, I don't know if it was you or Amanda, and she told me, or you told me, about you're looking like crazy. Like, what is he about to say? You there was a record you had. Either you were working on not a Mexican influenced vibe. It was what was it? Do you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Yo, I've been hearing about this thing for a minute. And if it bangs like Cumbia did, understand me. Like, people in Houston, still to this day, like,
Listen, I'm gonna tell you.
We've burnt that thing crispy, and people still want to hear that record, and it's been
some more exclusive.
So then, what do you got? Because I'm gonna let you go.
Nobody knows this stuff, Jay.
What?
Only for you.
What do you got?
Only for you.
What do you got? Because I've been hearing about this.
I'm gonna tell you 2 songs.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I got this one. I got my first song I've ever done in Spanish. It's all in Spanish.
Oh snap! And it's you like the whole way.
Me singing in Spanish the whole way.
Yeah, loco. You serious?
Yo, it's fire. It's on some tropical craziness.
Okay.
And then I got a second song that's called Trap Chata.
Yeah. That's the one I've been hearing about.
Bro, it's a bachata.
But that's not on this album, correct?
It is.
Oh, so it is coming up.
Yeah, it's a bachata record with me doing trap cadences.
So you need to go get on that.
Bro.
So it's all kind of different flavors. New album. Where can go people check it out? I mean, if you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure you know exactly what to get a GAWVI. If not, you can go to the description and get that there. Mm-hmm. But it seems like they're getting a fusion of real emotion, real you, plus a bunch of other fusions of music they've never heard. Plus, you're getting to groom and help new artists that people have never heard of.
Yes.
All that combined.
I think every album you're always going to hear me supporting someone that hasn't had the platform yet, you know?
Yeah.
But definitely a Klesso and the guys.
We're next.
It's about to be fire. This is just an introduction album. Wait until you hear the next album in the beginning of next year.
And the fact you have 2 other producers with you is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I see the vision. I see what's going on here. Man, thank you so much again, bro. I appreciate always talking to you. And
yes, bro.
It's always a blessing. So say what up to the wifey and the babies.
Yes.
And we'll be talking soon.
To Miami.
Yo, how about why you Yo, when does it drop again? One more time, the album, when does it drop?
It drops October 19th. And guys, we're going to be praying that Jay Plays moves to Miami very soon.
Oh my I'm not moving to Miami.
But then your prayers.
Oh my God, this guy.
We need Manny there.
This guy's trying to, yo, man.
Sabotage your career, bro.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks.
Love you, bro.